Good evening. Welcome to Worthington United Methodist Church. My name is Jared Ozier. I'm the director of music here at Worthington UMC, but I'm also the director of Columbus Rings that you see filling in behind me. And I'd love to welcome you to our 2021 holiday show. It has been a couple of years since we've been able to do this for you, so we're glad that you're here. We hope that you enjoy the concert tonight. We're going to have a nice mix of music for you, some carols in the traditional sense, some carols maybe in the not-so-traditional sense, and hopefully a few new ones for you as well, including a premiere that we'll talk with you a little bit about later. So in the meantime, thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy. So that's Miss Casey Cook on the piano. Casey, thank you so much. We are very fortunate to have her with us tonight. She'll be back a little bit later. In the meantime, so I mentioned that we're going to have some carols for you tonight. So a few of those carols, including the next one, have a little bit of a different twist. So it might be a melody you recognize, but we're going to use the unique qualities that the bells can present to change those up a little bit for you. So see if you can spot this one. So we have a few familiar movie themes for you coming up. The first is the theme from the Polar Express, Believe. When I was a kid, I remember reading the book and having that sense that you, as you get older, you lose that ability to hear the bells of Christmas. And the whole story takes you back to being able to hear those bells. And where we are right now, I think it's good to think about those bells and hearing the bells of Christmas. And so I hope tonight, as you listen, that it'll lift your spirits a little and help you to remember that as well. Believe. If anybody's still waiting for a hula hoop for Christmas, you can look up at the top of the bells there. Vince Guaraldi's Charlie Brown Christmas is well known and well beloved. The great thing about doing it for bells is that we really get to capture some of those little nuances and really kind of lean into some of these really fun melodies. So you're going to hear a whole medley of tunes that I hope you recognize here, finishing up with one that you will definitely recognize. So they're not having any fun, can you tell? They really hate this. I make them do this. It's under threat. You know, it's really terrible. But they've worked so hard. We took a long hiatus, as you might imagine, like a lot of folks did. And they came back this fall and really just put the time and the work to bring together all that it takes to do this, which is a lot of playing time, a lot of practice time, and a lot of working together. So when we started Columbus Rings back in 2018, one of the things that we wanted to do was really put the verb of handbell ringing out there. Columbus Rings, something we do, something we go out into the community and contribute. And so one of the ways that we've done that a little over the years is to take smaller groups out of this group, take those to Columbus Metropolitan Library for the holiday train event down there, to take some folks down to Prologue Bookshop in the Short North, and play there, as well as some other spots around town. And we hope that as we continue to be able to do more and more, that we'll be able to do that again and start bringing some smaller versions of this group out there. But what I wanted to show you tonight is what that looks like when we start to change up the way that the group functions a little. We go from this larger group down to a little bit smaller group, and maybe we add in piano and some percussion, because we have those folks with us tonight. We just happen to have them, and they're here to help. And then beyond that, as we get into some of the other pieces after that, you're going to see how we can take that 6 ringers, smaller music, and then start to expand it a little by maybe adding in some chimes, adding in a few other little touches here and there. So this gives you a little idea of what we can do when we take the whole group and bring it down a little bit smaller and kind of mess with those formations some. So the first thing for that is Somewhere in My Memory, to continue our Hollywood movie theme for you. So now we're going to take that, so that's one formation. So we had 6 ringers there on about, what was that, about 2 octaves, 2.5 octaves maybe? Somewhere around there. So we cut the group in half to do that, add in the piano and a few other little effects. So the next thing I want to show you is what happens when you just take those 6 ringers, I think, 6 of you, right? Okay. I can still count. Those 6 ringers, and just give you the texture of just that 2.5, 3 octaves with just those 6 ringers on a carol you're familiar with. So that's sort of our portable bell setup. When we need to take just a small group and plug it in somewhere really quickly, that's a great way to do that. You're going to see, a little bit later, you'll see a video where we did that at Prologue Bookshop back in 2018, and it's a pretty small space down there, but you can take this group and kind of smash them in, make them kind of in a U shape, and it works, and we can take bells on the road in that easy way without all the rest of the equipment and everything else. So something else we can do, and something that we sometimes do in different contexts, is take that same setup and then add a few more things to it. So maybe a chime, maybe a little bit of doubling in the chords. And so again, I want you to hear the difference when we continue to build that texture, because now we're building back toward the larger group again. So now that you've seen a little bit of the different formations that we can do, we're going to go back to one of those carols I was telling you about. So we changed up a little earlier on the first Noel. So this next one of my favorites is the John Jacob Niles arrangement that I sang way back when I was an undergrad of I Wonder as I Wander. And it really stuck with me then in a very traditional way, but what I've loved over the years is hearing all of the different ways that it can be kind of worked around. The melody is very haunting, it's very distant, kind of hangs with you, and it works really well for bells. I've actually programmed it every year for this concert so far by a different arranger in a different style, so we have a little bit of a streak going. So I do want to point out just quickly before I go away from it, Jason Krug is the composer of those pieces that you just heard, those last two. And it's important to point out that in the handbell world, it's a very small world. Most people know each other. And a lot of the composers who are composing the music that you hear tonight are living. They are out among us. They come and they give us feedback on this music sometimes, and we see them out at conferences and other times when we're able to be together. Jason Krug actually lives over in Indianapolis, and so it's a wonderful resource to have these folks so close and have them be so gracious to continue to give us wonderful music to share with you. So, Brenda Austin is the arranger of this version of I Wonder as I Wander. So again, Brenda Austin, really, really wonderful. We're live streaming tonight, so Brenda, if you are watching, glorious piece, really wonderful. We've had a great time with it. So back in March of 2020, actually a little bit before that, back in January of 2020, this group was rehearsing for a slate of concerts that were going to happen in the spring across April and May. We were going to hit the road and go a few other places in Ohio. We had several concerts planned for here in the central Ohio area, and we all know how that all ended. So when we took a little time off, came together in the summer as best we could and rang outside, and then we took a break in the fall again and decided that we would come back together. And in December of last year, unfortunately, we lost one of our members to COVID-19. And in the way that we all now recognize, COVID has touched most of our lives, all of our lives, in various ways. And losing Eric was a blow to our group. It was a blow to what we had built and the team that we felt we were together. And so as we came back together, we realized that there was some way that we could come back and hope to honor Eric as we came back to practice, and we started thinking about how we would plan the next season when we came back together this last fall. And so one of the ways that was gifted to us, so we are thankful that it was gifted to us, this gives you a sense of how many lives we touch and how we connect to people all over, even when we don't realize it. So Eric was part of an event in West Virginia, and the composer for that event was Fred Grayman, who's well known all throughout the Bell world. And Fred is the director of music at the American Church in Paris. So he grew up here in the United States, but he's been the director at the American Church in Paris for many, many decades now, actually. But we are lucky to have him back and to conduct events around the States several times throughout the year. And he was conducting an event called Bronze Fest, which was down in the West Virginia area. And Eric actually was assigned to pick Fred up, Fred and his wife, and take them down to the Bronze Fest event. And in that moment, Fred got to spend some time. They got to talk. They got to know each other. And after that event, COVID happened. Things started to shut down. And we were all trying to decide what we would do to honor Eric, to find some way of maybe commissioning a piece, doing something in his honor. And Fred was able to connect with some of our other folks around the Bell world and deliver a piece that he had written for Eric. And he wrote it in a way that he wanted to use Psalm 139, if I ascend into heaven, you are there. And he wanted to think of it not as he actually said, not as a dirge, not as a slow sort of thing, but as a celebration. And so we've had the opportunity to work with this piece now for several months, and we are really excited to premiere it. But before we do, we have a little video. So I told you about the six-ringer thing that we did down at Prologue. We came across this recently and learned that we had this on a cell phone video. Turned out to be a really great video, and so we put together a little memorial for Eric so that that's something that we could share with you tonight before we play these next few songs that are in honor of Eric. So, Craig? So we'd like to premiere for you now the Columbus Rings premiere of Psalm 139, written by Fred Grayman in the memory of John Eric Giz. So in addition to that, I'm a firm believer that sometimes music just hits you where you are. It may not be the time that you think it will. It may not be the music that actually matches up to the holiday or the mood. And that is the case with Milele, which we're going to play for you now. So Milele is a Swahili word that roughly means forever. It also can mean everlasting, evermore. And I was looking through some music last year and trying to decide, before I had learned about Fred's piece, I was looking through some music and trying to decide and came across this piece, and it just stuck with me. And sometimes that's how it happens. It sort of connects with you, and I thought, this isn't a Christmas piece. doesn't really line up with what we're going to be doing for the season, but it just fits really well for the mood and for how we're feeling, and to continue that theme of really celebrating Eric and thinking about those connections that he made throughout his life and the connections that we all make throughout our lives together. So we're going to play for you now Malele, Forever, Everlasting. So we've reached the end. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for coming out to hear some live music and to hear some handbell music and to appreciate, as you have so well, this work that we've put in and this time that we've spent together. We couldn't do what we do without you, and we've certainly learned that in the last couple of years. We really missed this, and so we appreciate that you came out tonight. Folks out there on the live stream, we hope we're getting some folks who maybe aren't comfortable quite yet to be with us, or maybe who are just far away. We're glad that you're with us as well. So we're going to wrap up tonight for you, and unfortunately, we're going to, as we wrap up the concert tonight, we are going to exit the space, and we would ask that you do that as well for the sake of safety. We're not going to do what we might usually do, which is have folks up to take a look at the bells and kind of show those things for you. Just in the interest of everyone's safety, we're gonna go on. But we certainly do appreciate that you were with us tonight. We're going to invite back Casey Cook and Jim Lindroth, percussion and piano, and we're going to wrap up with the most wonderful time of the year, a Joel Rainey arrangement. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night. Drive safe out there. We'll see you soon.